Morning, everyone. This is the June 2023 meeting of the Transportation Planning Organization for the Knoxville region. My name is Glenn Jacobs. I am the vice chair. Chairman Terry Frank could not be here today, so I will be running the meeting and call this meeting to order. And the first order of business is roll call and to determine if we have a quorum.
Mayor Tanya Mitchell, Mayor Tony Atkins, Mayor Roland Bradshaw, Mayor Scott Burton,
Larry Gann for Scott Burton.
Troy Ebert,
I'm representing Governor Lee. I guess Troy is not here today.
Mayor Terry Frank, Mayor Warren Gooch, Mayor Jeff Harris, Mayor Glenn Jacobs,
Here.
Mayor India Kincannon,
Tom Claybo for Mayor Kincannon.
Vice Mayor Andrew Roberto, Mayor Ed Mitchell, Commissioner Courtney Durrett, Commissioner Harold Pittner, Justin Biggs,
Present.
Isaac Thorne, Mayor Larry Waters,
James Temple for Mayor Waters.
Mayor Andy White,
Brian Boone for Mayor White.
Mayor Ron Williams.
Mayor Williams, present.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, okay. That's 10 present. That's a quorum.
Great. Thank you all for being here. We're all introduced with the roll call. So is there anyone on Zoom, Jeff, that we need to recognize?
No one spoke up, so.
Okay, great. In your packet, there is a list of commonly used acronyms, so thank you for always including that, Jeff, so everyone can follow along. The first order of business is to approve the minutes from the April 26, 2023 TPO Executive Board. Do I hear a motion to
Motion to
approve?
approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Then the next order of business is the Transportation Planning Work Program.
Thank you, Mayor. The TPO is required to make amendments to the work program as a result of some additional funding that the Knoxville Area Transit and the City of Knoxville received from the Federal Transit Administration for areas of persistent poverty and grant program, and then the chance that they may be able to proceed with that project yet this fiscal year. We want to add that to the agenda, to the work program, and with the appropriate funding. And then secondly, we needed to be a little bit more clarity in our work program that we were going to be undertaking, our long-range transportation plan for the urban area. We had the funding in there, but we just were not explicitly stating that we were going to be updating that this fiscal year. So this amendment just adds some clarity and flushes out what the types of activities will be done in that effort. So technical committee recommends approval, and as well as staff.
Does anyone have any questions for Jeff? Hearing none, we need a motion on that, please.
Motion approved.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Now we'll move on to the Federal Transit Agency Section 5310 Program of Projects.
Thank you very much. Okay, this is the program through the Federal Transit Administration where we get to award funds to nonprofits and human service agencies who are carrying seniors and individuals with disabilities. The TPO is the recipient of these funds. We held a call for projects. We posted online, advertised in the regional papers. We have a long-going database of interested agencies. We had 8 applications. 7 of them are from previous applicants that were all in good standing, and we had 1 new applicant. We have a subcommittee of the technical committee go through these first, and then we brought those forward to the tech committee, and they recommend approval of these projects. These tables are in your packet. I'm not going to go through all the dollar amounts. I'm just going to cover the federal awards. That's what the TPO oversees. This is for capital projects, and every federal dollar requires a match. So for capital, it's 80% federal, TDOT provides 10%, and then the local agency provides 10%. So we are awarding $208,000 in federal funds to Sertoma Center, who is here in Knox County, city of Knoxville, $92,800 to Emory Valley Center, and that's for 2 vehicles. Arc Knox County, Sunshine Industries, $46,400. They're here in Knoxville, Knox County. Community Options, 2 vehicles at $104,000. They are in Blount County, Maryville. We also have the Knoxville, Knox County Volunteer Program through CAC, $180,000 in capital funds. They're in Knox County. The Sevier County Live It Program, $1,600. This is just for some computer service that they used for their clientele. And so that's the capital funding. We also have a companion piece of, maybe I skipped one there. Well, we're missing a table, but I've got it right here. It may have gotten hidden. We also have a companion piece for operating projects. Those tables are in your packet though. $168,750 to the Knoxville, Knox County CAC Volunteer Program. $32,000 to the Sevier County Live It Program, $90,000 to the East Tennessee Human Resource Agency, and $160,000 to Blount County Smiles. And operating is a 50% federal, 25% state, and 25% local match. So in total, we're awarding $1,218,433 in federal funding. When it's all matched, it's around $1.8 million. The subcommittee we can use a portion of this for administration. They are recommending $133,884 for administration. That's what pays the TPO staff to administer the program. And that will cover us at least for 2 years. And it also has some money for us to hire a consultant to help us update our human service coordination plan. That is a prerequisite. We have to have that plan and update it periodically in order to award the funding. I will say we always footnote that while TDOT has always provided half the local match, they will not commit to that until we have a federally approved grant. So we always put our agencies on notice that they could have to come up with the whole match, and they are aware of that. And then finally, the Sevier County Live It, that's a volunteer program where they recruit volunteers and they transport people who can no longer use ETHRA. They need that extra level of assistance for the person who is driving and helping them. They are located in Seymour, and most of their clients are in Seymour, but we do approve them to go outside of our typical planning area. And we have a specification in our bylaws that we have to at least approve that by a 2/3 vote if any project goes beyond our planning area. So I just want that to be, y'all to be aware of that. That is all I have. Like I said, the technical committee also looked at these projects and they do recommend approval. We do have some people in the audience I want to mention. Mary Roush, she's here from Community Options. That's a new program we're funding from out in Maryville. We have some guests from Sunshine Industries. They also wanted to come and see how government works. And then we have Nancy Welch from the Knox County CAC Volunteer Program. So just want to be sure that y'all know they're here.
I have a quick question. What is the duration of this grant? Is it 1 year? How many years is this?
Okay, this is 2 years worth of funding. There's a lot of them for the operating, it will last them 2 years. They ask for 2 years worth of funding. The capital will be spent in one time once they purchase the vehicles. And I will say we're still having trouble getting the accessible vehicles. There's a shortage of those nationwide. So, but we're working to address that.
Are there any other questions? So is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve. Second.
Any other discussion on this? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Here to bring to you the roadway safety action plan, hopefully for your approval. We got a resolution support of approval at the technical committee meeting earlier this month. Just wanted to run you through this plan. I've been in front of you before talking about it, but if this seems like it's been a very quick process, it's because it has. We started work on this in January, but there's a reason that we needed to get it done quickly. So, key elements of the safety plan: that it's a data-driven approach to identifying safety goals. You've heard me talk a lot about the crash data we use, and we used other data sources to make sure that this is meeting all the federal guidelines that they want to see. There's a focus on equity. The federal focus specifically is on rural equity. When we are putting together an application for funding, that's one area we're focusing on. The federal requirements wanted to see an analysis of current and recommended policies, which is part of the plan, and then a commitment to reducing fatal and serious injury crashes around the region. Finally, the plan puts together a prioritized list of strategies and projects to improve safety, and a commitment. It includes a commitment to measuring and sharing progress. So we're going to continue to get new crash data, analyze that data, share what we're learning. TDOT and the folks at Titan at the state have some amazing tools that help us access that data, and so we're committed to sharing our progress. So a key element of the planning process was identifying high injury networks. This is a map showing the high injury network. Again, this is focused on fatal and serious injury crashes throughout the region. We identified 2 tiers of that high injury network. And again, this shows that there are a small number of segments of our roadways throughout the region that contribute to a huge share of these fatal and serious injury crashes. In the regional case, excluding the city of Knoxville, it's under 2% of regional roadway miles that see almost 30% of fatal and serious injury crashes. And then a separate HIN was created for the city of Knoxville. Again, 5% of the streets, excluding interstate, that see 63% of fatal and serious injury crashes. The plan includes a set of crash profiles and countermeasures. And so this helps inform us, what are we looking for? What types of roadways do we want to address? And then how do we solve these safety issues? And some of the crash profiles are more rural and suburban in character, like roadway departure crashes, left turn crashes on arterials, and then some of them are more urban in context, crashes involving people walking and cycling on arterials, motorcycle crashes. These happen throughout the region, both urban and rural. And then our consultant team also created a predictive analysis, because we want to not only look at where these crashes have occurred, but what are the similar roadway characteristics that may contribute to crashes in the future that we can address. So we are in the process of, and the city of Knoxville is working on an application for SS4A. We're working closely with them to make sure that we have a regional application that's complementary rather than competitive. We hope both of these get funded, but we are working on a regional application for funding. That application's due July 10th, so we're cranking on that, working with local governments to determine exactly which projects, what the cost of those will be, what TDOT's role will be in those. We have to have the safety action plan in place this month to apply for those funds, and then Knoxville is also creating a separate Vision Zero plan that will form the basis for their application. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
So we need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion and second. Any other discussion on this? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you so much. The next item is a motion to approve a resolution adopting amendments to the FY 2023-2026 Transportation Improvement Plan and certifying the metropolitan planning process is being followed. Greg?
Yep. Good morning, everyone. First, we finally have a fiscal 23-26 that was approved last week. So that is now the operable document, and we're ready to move forward on that. And we have 2 amendments for projects being added to that now approved document. One is an existing project that was expected to be obligated go to letting out of the prior document, so we didn't include it in the new one. That project was delayed, so now we're adding it back in so that it can proceed for the city of Oak Ridge. And the second is adding a grouping for air quality improvement type projects, and we're going to put 2 projects within that grouping that will be moving forward. Both of these are air quality exempt. The total funding that's added, as you see there, is about $10 million. $2.5 million in state carbon reduction program funding for that Oak Ridge project that was formerly a CMAQ project. Due to their process on managing their programs, they've suggested that we do revise the funding on that, but the project will continue to move forward with that alternative funding. And then about $7.5 million in CMAQ PM 2.5, particulate matter 2.5 microns or smaller, a subset of that overall statewide CMAQ program that is eligible here for the region. We had some balances that the state would like us to draw down, so we've been working with CAT and are adding some funding for some of their electric vehicle charging projects. Oak Ridge Signal Timing Optimization Phase 2. Again, I'm adding this project so that it can proceed to letting. That's getting ready to go right now. They're working on kind of wrapping up the preparations for that. My understanding is that the current estimate is higher than the amount that you see right there. They've been having some conversations about us, and I believe we'll be processing a cost overrun process for that we'll bring back to the technical committee for consultation, because it does kind of breach the limits that we had indicated when we put the new TIP process together. Again, total $2.8 million there. I think it is closer to 4, if I recall correctly. Travel congestion, clean air improvement grouping. This is again adding this grouping that includes locally sponsored projects to reduce congestion and improve air quality throughout the region. This would be kind of similar to our other grouping, so it can have a variety of projects that fall under that general heading. This general, right now, is going to include 2 projects here. We start CAT to further supplement their electric vehicle charging infrastructure. That is information there. So at the central station, as well as some of their super stops, we're going to be proceeding to add some funding for those. And then school congestion reduction program that we will be administering in cooperation with some schools here to look to reduce congestion around some schools, kind of almost a pilot project, kind of education and outreach there. So a total of $6 million in federal CMAQ money added. Is there any questions about any of those? I will pause. And if not, then the technical committee did recommend approval of these 2 project amendments, and of course then reaffirmation that the metropolitan planning process is being followed.
Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Craig.
Thank you.
Now our friends from TDOT will update us on the Transportation Modernization Act that was signed into law in April by Governor Lee.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning. My name is Matt Meservey. For those of you that don't know me, I'm the Long Range Planning Director for TDOT. I am going to talk about one of the elements of the TMA, the Modernization Act, which is referred to as the Statewide Partnership Program. Perfect. Okay, so for those that aren't familiar with what this is, in a nutshell, it's an influx of state dollars to help push some of the locally funded or local projects forward a little bit quicker. It also provides some benefit of potentially, and I'll describe this a little bit, potentially giving you the ability to add another project to the list. But eligible projects right now, you can see the list here. It really covers, for the most part, for this 2023 call, anything that improves the mobility, safety, preservation, access, and or connectivity of the state route system. Again, this is our first time doing this, so there will be a lot of growing pains as we go along. But for now, to try to make sure that we can keep the amount of predicted applications in a manageable state, we're looking at just this. Non-state route applications may be considered, but as long as they are part of a current transportation plan. So again, I wanted to stress that this is one element of the TMA. We're also going to be looking at the major urban and rural congestion projects, as well as other state-managed projects, and put all that together into what we present to the legislature in December for how we're going to basically manage the $3 billion that we received as part of the TMA. I'm happy to answer any questions as we go along, so stop me if you see anything. So when we first brought this up to the MPO, actually, I don't want to tease that yet. I want you to listen to it. But when we brought this up to the MPO about a week ago, there was a little bit of confusion as to what exactly this was intended to do. And so as I talked to Jeff and the staff with TPO, I decided to put together some scenarios of what this is, and it might give you an idea of where we're going with this. So this first scenario is where City A currently has funding in the TIP for PE and right-of-way using local funding. The ask as part of this project intake process is to request SPP funds to help assist with the construction phase. So the benefit of this would be that TDOT would provide a portion of the funds to help cover the construction. And when I say portion, I do want to kind of asterisk this, is that because this is a new program and because we don't know what the demand will be for this, the commissioner has not given us a ceiling yet. We don't know how much money will be part of this SPP program. So it's really going to depend on what we get and how it fits in with those other elements that I talked about that make up the entire TMA program. So any questions on that one? Again, the benefit is that you have more money coming in to help fund a project to keep it moving forward. Okay, the second one is a similar situation where County B has LSTBG funds for all of the current phases. There could be an ask for the county based on what they would think would be, and this is probably something that's more of a coordination between the MPOs and the local jurisdictions, to discuss whether or not SPP funds could be used to replace the federal portion and put SPP in there, allowing the MPOs to potentially reprogram that LSTBG money on an existing project or pull it from an illustrative list. So that could be an additional project that was waiting for funding that didn't quite meet the fiscal constraint of the plan. Any questions on that one? So again, more money coming to you. This last one is focusing on some of the small urban and rurals where they have the potential of maxing out their allocated local funds, but can't quite get to the total cost to cover construction. So this ask would be to basically say we would like to the state to help provide that remaining construction cost in SPP dollars to help fully fund it and to help keep it moving. So I hope that helps a little bit, Jeff, and the rest of the group to kind of understand where we're going with this and what we'd like to use it for. So there was an email that came out yesterday to the TPO staff that will be disseminated to you all that basically says that the application window is open, and it will be open until August 4th. So the eligible sponsors are city and county government. You can use third-party assistance to help that, but it needs to come from the government entity itself on that ask. It's a fairly it looks like a daunting application. It's a lot of pages when you print it in a PDF, but it does flow through fairly quickly, and it will ask a lot of the information that's listed on here. And again, if there are any questions or if there are some nuances that create a little bit of a complexity, I know we talked a little bit with Mr. Barry here with Johnson City about a project that was in a previous TIP but is not in a TIP. Things like that we would like to talk about on a case-by-case basis, but most of these will be fairly straightforward, I think. So this is the timeline at the moment. We will compile that list. We'll rank the projects or evaluate them through what you see on the right, some of those general categories, and then notify the applicants of the awards and talk about how we get that into the 3-year plan cycle moving forward. That is really all I have, and I would be happy to take any questions on any of that. Again, this is new. We were happy to work with you all. I know we're going to have some bumps along the way, but this will make it a lot stronger. And the whole plan of getting all this money attached to the $3 billion is our way of saying, this was a successful project, and this hopefully will allow us to reach out to the legislature for even more opportunity in future years.
Any questions for Matt? Thank you so much.
Mayor, if I could just add real
Sure, go ahead,
quickly.
Jeff, I'm sorry.
If there's any, we have began to compile a list of projects that we feel might be eligible for that. And particularly that's with the local SDPG money that, are partially funded, hey, could use additional assistance in that. So, based on the conversations over the last week, 10 days with TDOT and the other MPOs throughout the state. So we're moving forward that to help better prepare our local governments for that. And if you have questions, and we'll send out that application email later today, please ask us and we'll try to help answer any questions. And I think, Matt, that your staff is available to come directly to and meet with a city or maybe our technical committee. We can have a special meeting in July or at our July meeting if we have one.
Yeah, one other thing I wanted to add regarding the eligible projects, I'm going through I have a picture of a slide that was just paper, but just to kind of emphasize what projects are not, what we're not looking for. Any project that has construction programmed in year 1 of the 3-year plan, that's already in the hopper. We don't need to worry about that. Local funding commitment is essential to this. So anything that has anything other than that, we will not be considering. And any of the other state managed projects, like I said, are already in the hopper. They're already being considered. So there's no need to produce those. So this is really more about your priorities and what you feel is being missed in current funding tables right now.
I think public transit is not eligible or
No,
or
we're looking.
peer
We're trying to stay
greenway
more
or
on state
something.
route type of system, but just for this round.
Thank you, Matt. Next item is an update on TDOT's FY 2024-2026 3-year program. Dexter.
Good morning. My name is Dexter Justice. I'm Director of Project Management here in Region 1. I just wanted to do what I consider a mid-year cycle of the 3-year plan and give you an update on what happened as a result of last year's work as we start progressing towards this fall's rankings of projects to go into the 25 through 27 3-year plan. As you are aware, you all rank projects every fall. This is a list from last year, fall of 22, which influenced the 24 through 26 3-year plan. This is your all's ranking. No need to go through those. Just wanted to have that up there to represent what has happened. This is the 3-year plan that came from the list of projects that were included in the 3-year plan for Region 1 for 24 through 26. What you'll see is in FY24, we have a good list of projects. In FY25, another good list of projects in the region. And 26 is quite thin. I'll get into that a little more on the next slide, but I did want to point that out before we moved on, that 26 is, like I say, pretty thin. What you'll see is a construction project in Hawkins County, a pretty small project, and a right-of-way job in Cott County. Like I say, I'll follow up on that a little more on the next slide. Highlight the projects that are in this MPO would be Knox County, I-75 interchange at Emory Road. Goes into FY25 for construction. Last year's 3-year plan showed it in construction for FY24, so that shows a slight slide in schedule. What caused that is the schedule for the project showed it being really late in FY24 and had high risk of moving into 25 for right-of-way. As most of you are aware, this project includes the diverging diamond at that interchange, and all of the property owners that we're dealing with are corporations, and a high likelihood that almost all of them will end up in condemnation. Until we have possession from all those, we would not be able to go to construction. So knowing those factors is very, very likely that it was going to get pushed to 25 due to right of way. And as we're physically constrained, we're trying to deliver projects in 24 that use all the money without projects sliding that would cause us to not be able to deliver all that money. So it was prudent to move that project into 25. It was very likely going to go that way due to the right-of-way issues that we're going to run into. The other project is Anderson County State Route 170. You see there at the top of the page. Also in right-of-way for FY25. Very similar thing. It was in FY24, pushing right-of-way out at the end. It was scheduled to be at the very end of the federal fiscal year. And there was going to be some likely delays built into that schedule. So again, being physically constrained, we moved it into 25. What you will see is that there's nothing new moved into FY24, 25. We have tried to become a lot more transparent in that realm. If a project's in 25, it should stay in 25 unless there's some reason, but you don't see new stuff that jumped, say, that wasn't in the 3-year plan into 24, which is something you historically had seen. So we're trying to move projects forward from, if it's in year 3, it goes year 2 next year 2 to year 1. That's our goal. We're getting better at it. And you'll see that in FY24 and 26. Everything in 24 and 25 were in 24, 25 last year. 2 of those projects slid just a hair, but nothing new. So TPO projects that we're working on currently, what you'll see is we have the committed title there on projects that we're committed to that are no longer being ranked. I mentioned the Anderson County 170 project, $155 million project currently. You also see an Anderson County State Route 9 shared use path project on there as well that is moving forward. It was for construction in 23. It has slid. The getting to project definition there has been a challenge, but the project is committed and still moving forward. Moving down the list, you'll see the Knox County Interchange project still committed as it's in the 3-year plan, no longer needing to be ranked. But I would also want to point out 3 projects that are on this list that were in FY 2023. And these are the reasons why our FY 26 list is so thin. As you know, we have about $500 million for capital projects every year statewide. And I would say we got the lion's share of that in FY23. So 23 being so full related in, we try to spread the money around the state, not just we try to spread it around the region, but we also try to spread it around the state equally. Well, sometimes you get a little bit of an imbalance. FY23 was one of those. We let the Knox County Alcoa Highway interchange at Cherokee Trail in May, for the tune of $186 million. That's the largest project ever let in the state of Tennessee to date, funding-wise. So $186 million. And then in the August 18th letting, we have an ITS project on I-140 in Blount and Knox County to the tune of $5.8 million estimate. And we have a Blount County relocated Alcoa Highway Stage 1 project. We're in the $150 million range on that one. We had a project in Region 4 that was not going to make this year. Like I say, we're physically constrained. So we were able to bring some of that money, about $40 million, and bring it into Stage 1 of Alcoa Highway. So we made Stage 1 bigger. Stage 2 will shrink as a result. So we're getting a lot more work done in the first stage as a result of that issue. We went from about $110 to $150 million on that project. So you add all that, and then outside of the TPO area, we do have a member here in Sevier County in the TPO that had another project that was in FY23 that was State Route 35 between Newport and Sevierville there in Jefferson and Sevier counties. There was another $70 million project roughly. So you add all those up, you'll see that Region 1 had nearly $500 million in FY23, way more than any other region. So that's kind of the reason for the imbalance in FY26, trying to make up that difference there. That's really all I have, but I'm open to any questions anybody has.
Thanks, sir.
Yep, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, before we move on, I have a comment from Zoom. This is actually referring to Matt's presentation on the Transportation Modernization Act. D. Stacy Morrison made a comment that local jurisdictions should have received the application yesterday, and if not, to please let the MPO or TDOT staff know that.
Okay. Stacy is part of our OCT staff. He's the manager of our OCT program. So he's, yeah. Okay. So you all should have the application when you get.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stacy.
Next on the agenda is updates from TDOT and the Federal Highway Administration.
I think we wanted to give you an update on some major resurfacing projects, if I'm not mistaken.
See if I can get to it here. Hey, well, they took it off the screen, but not that one. That's right. Take care of me.
Let's see, it's hiding behind the.
There it is. Thank you.
Sure. And then probably want to blow that up a little bit.
Blow it up just a little.
There it is.
There we go. Thank you very much. Good morning. My name's Randy Busler. I'm the Region 1 Pavement Management Coordinator for TDOT. Just going to go over a few of the resurfacing projects in the TPO area for 23 and 24. 23, all of the projects have been let now. We've got one that hasn't been awarded yet. But starting out with in Anderson County there in Oak Ridge, we've got a project on Oak Ridge Turnpike from 62 to 61, State Route 61. In Blount County, we have a project on State Route 33 from Loudoun County line to Calderwood Highway, State Route 115. In Blount County as well, we've got two projects, one on State Route 335 from 334 to 33. And in Blount County also, it's the non-I-140 portion of Pellissippi there from near the Alcoa Highway interchange to State Route 33. There is going to be an exclusion in that one for the upcoming Alcoa Highway project. So we will not be paving that little portion there right at Alcoa Highway. In conjunction with that it's not on the list, we also have awarded I-140 in Blount and Knox County to do the remainder of that from Alcoa Highway to the bridge over Tedder Lane in Knox County. So I know that one's I've had a lot of comments about when we're going to do that one, but it is now under contract. So also have a section in Knox County on Level Road basically from Kingston Pike to State Route 162. We have a section in Knox County on State Route 61 that's combined with a couple of other. This is out in a rural area with Union and Granger County. It's a little short section there. And we've got a couple in Anderson County. One's on State Route 9. This was in Clinton from Long Mile Road to Linwood Street. And the other one there is State Route 330. That is the one that was just let and has not been awarded at this time. And it's in Oliver Springs, basically from the Roane County line to State Route 116. For 2024, we have a section in Blount County on State Route 73. This is from Tuckaleechee Pike towards Townsend to the bridge over Hess Creek. In Knoxville, we're doing State Route 33 North Broadway from Central Street to Mineral Springs Avenue. In Anderson County, we're doing State Route 62, Illinois Avenue from State Route 61 to Union Valley Road. In Knox County, again, this one's in the city of Knoxville. This is State Route 1 from Hall of Fame Drive. It's on Hall of Fame Drive in East Magnolia. Basically starts out here near the Women's Hall of Fame and goes to Rutledge Pike. I know that section, I actually looked at it this morning again. It's in need. So yes, we're going to do that one next year. Blount County, State Route 115. This is the Dragon from North Carolina state line to Tabcat Creek. Knox County, State Route 131 East Emory from Gill Road to Hollycrest Lane. And we've also got Maryville Pike in Knox County scheduled for next year from the Blount County line to Chapman Highway. A couple other things just of note. We do have for 24 also on interstate resurfacing. We have a section in Anderson County from the Knox County line to State Route 61 scheduled next year. And last year we did, or this year we did a curb ramp contract. Well, we actually led it last year where we're doing all of our ADA upgrades prior to our resurfacing in a separate contract. Our multimodal division has taken that over, and they are developing a contract for Region 1 for all of our 2024 projects that have any ADA upgrades that are necessary, and those will be performed in a separate contract that's scheduled right now to be let in October. And you should be receiving some letters from our regional OCT offices, all the mayor's offices and officials, telling you which jobs are going to be going on in your areas this year. If you have any questions or any kinds of conflicts with any local projects, that gives us an opportunity to know that so we can coordinate the work. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Is there anyone from FHWA online, Dallas? Or no?
I asked if there was anyone to speak on that, and I haven't
Okay.
heard back from anyone.
Okay, thank you. Guess I'll move on to other business. Is there any other updates, Matt, or anything? Okay.
I think I'm good on updates.
All right, thank you. I want to take this opportunity to recognize our staff cohorts from Johnson City here. Glenn and Mary just came down from there, I assume, this morning and just observing our TPO Executive Board meeting. I appreciate them being here today, and have a safe trip back, and hopefully you'll stay for lunch in Knoxville. So, lots to choose from within walking distance from here. And then second thing, just give you an update on the search for a new TPO director. I will be retiring at the end of August. We tried earlier this year and were unsuccessful in finding a appropriate candidate to fill this position. So 3 weeks ago, we engaged an executive search firm to help us in that effort. When we did it internally, we spent hundreds of hours and only got 11 applications, and was just not successful in finding the right candidate for that. So we have engaged a firm of GovUSA. GovHR USA is the same firm that is City of Oak Ridge is using for their city manager search, and they only specialize in public sector job searches. So we have just initiated that outreach effort, began this week for this position, and hopefully the plan will be to have someone on board by mid-September. So I just want to give you guys an update. I'm still around for a couple more months. Thank you very much. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Is there any other business to come before this board? Our next meeting will be July 11, 2023 at 9 a.m. in this room, the small assembly room. And now is public comment period. So members of the public may address the executive board with a 5-minute limitation for each person. Is there anyone here that would like to address the board? Okay. Seeing none, without objection, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.